Welcome back to Coins Numismatic Series, the channel where rare finds, historical treasures, and valuable insights all meet in one place. 1993 Kennedy half-dollar coin with mint mark D and good condition. The 1993D Kennedy half-dollar holds a special place in modern coinage, not because it is exceptionally rare or composed of precious metals, but because it marks a significant phase in the evolution of U.S. coin production, design continuity, and market trends. This coin, minted in Denver and identified by the D mint mark, is a testament to the durability and resilience of the Kennedy half-dollar series, which was first struck in 1964 as a tribute to the fallen President John F. Kennedy. By 1993, the Kennedy half-dollar had long outlived its original purpose as a commemorative issue and firmly entrenched itself in the daily lives of Americans and the collections of coin enthusiasts. When it comes to design, the 1993D Kennedy half-dollar adheres closely to the iconic layout established in its inaugural year. The obverse features Gilroy Roberts' portrait of President John F. Kennedy, a striking profile image that conveys both gravitas and youthfulness. Although the design had undergone subtle refinements since 1964, by 1993, it remained largely untouched. This sense of continuity provided a strong connection to the coin's original patriotic sentiment while serving as a visual link across generations. On the reverse, Frank Gasparo's adaptation of the presidential seal displays a heraldic eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows, a symbol of peace and strength. The detail and artistry of the reverse, combined with the familiar obverse, contribute to the coin's enduring appeal. Mintage figures for the 1993D Kennedy half-dollar were relatively high, with approximately 15,876,000 coins struck at the Denver Mint. This was typical for Kennedy half-dollars in circulation during that period, though demand for half-dollars had diminished significantly compared to their peak years. By the early 1990s, the use of half-dollars in everyday transactions was rare. Most of these coins were being set aside by collectors or simply not used at all, resulting in a higher survival rate in better condition. Consequently, coins in good condition from this mintage year are relatively easy to find, but as with any collectible, condition, strike quality, and specific errors can significantly influence market value. Speaking of value, the 1993D Kennedy half-dollar in average circulated or good condition is generally worth slightly above its face value, hovering around $1.25 to $2. However, coins in mint state or uncirculated condition can fetch significantly more. Speaking of value, the 1993D Kennedy half-dollar in average circulated or good condition is generally worth slightly above its face value, hovering around $1.25 to $2. However, coins in mint state or uncirculated condition can fetch significantly more. An MS-65 graded example, for instance, can be valued anywhere from $15 to $30, depending on demand and the coin's eye appeal. MS-66 or higher grades can push values upward even more. Though these figures may not seem astronomical, the appeal lies in the accessibility of this coin and the ease with which new collectors can begin building a meaningful collection with affordable entries. But where things get particularly interesting is in the realm of errors and varieties. Although 1993D Kennedy half-dollars are not as notorious for errors as earlier or transitional year issues, several minor yet desirable variations have been reported by collectors. These include die cracks, double dies on the obverse lettering, and off-center strikes. A double die obverse, especially one that affects the motto, "In God We Trust," or the word liberty, can elevate the value of a standard coin substantially, sometimes reaching into the hundreds of dollars, depending on severity and demand. Even subtle planchette flaws or striking anomalies can turn a relatively common coin into a valuable curiosity. Collector interest in the 1993D Kennedy half-dollar tends to fall into several categories. Newer collectors are often drawn to it for its affordability and historical significance. Intermediate and advanced collectors might pursue high-grade examples, especially those graded by reputable third-party services like PCGS or NGC. Others focus on assembling complete sets of Kennedy half-dollars from all mint marks and years, and the 1993D represents an important component of that journey. The coin's place in the modern numismatic landscape is also shaped by its transitional context. In the 1990s, the U.S. Mint was gradually increasing its focus on commemorative coinage and bullion programs like the American Silver Eagle. While this meant that Kennedy half-dollars were no longer in the spotlight, it also created a kind of sleeper appeal for coins like the 1993D. These coins, minted without much fanfare, have become time capsules of a pre-digital age in U.S., minting a period when traditional coin design still held sway, and before the surge of interest in internet-age numismatics changed how collectors interact with and appraise coins. Ultimately, the 199 3D Kennedy half-dollar may not carry the dramatic premiums of rare varieties or silver issues from earlier decades, but its strength lies in its story, accessibility, and steady collector demand. For anyone building a comprehensive Kennedy half-dollar set or exploring modern U.S. coinage, this piece offers historical continuity, artistic value, and enough variation to make the hunt worthwhile. 1971 Kennedy half-dollar coin with mintmark D and good condition. The 1971 D Kennedy half-dollar stands at a crossroads of American coin history, representing the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter. Unlike its predecessors from 1964 to 1970, which contained silver, the 1971 version marked the first year that Kennedy half-dollars were struck entirely in copper-nickel-clad composition for circulation. This significant change in metallic content reshaped the coin's identity and long-term collectability. With a mintage of over 300 to million coins at the Denver Mint alone, it was also one of the most widely produced half-dollars of its time, making it a staple in circulation for years. The obverse design features the same familiar portrait of President John F. Kennedy by Gilroy Roberts, with slight wear and soft detail commonly seen on circulated examples from this period. The inscription Liberty arcs over Kennedy's head, with the date 1971 at the bottom and In God We Trust spanning the midsection. The reverse side showcases Frank Gasparo's rendering of the presidential seal, a majestic eagle with wings spread, holding arrows and an olive branch. Despite the massive production run, the design quality and strike depth on many 1971 D half-dollars can vary significantly, with some examples showing mushy or weak details due to worn dies or hurried production pace. Historically, the transition away from silver in 1971 came after growing concerns over the cost of silver and its depletion in circulating coins. From 1965 to 1970, Kennedy half-dollars have been struck in a 40% silver-clad composition, but by 1971, even that was eliminated for standard issues. The move to copper-nickel-clad alloy was not only economically practical, but also reflected shifting public attitudes toward coin hoarding and metal value. As silver disappeared from coinage, collectors began paying closer attention to year-to-year changes, and coins like the 1971D became points of interest not for their intrinsic metal value, but for what they represented in the evolution of U.S. currency. The market value for a 1971D Kennedy half-dollar in good circulated condition generally remains modest, typically ranging between 50 cents and $1. However, as with all coins, condition makes a difference. Uncirculated or mint-state examples graded MS65 and above can reach $10 to $30, depending on the coin's luster, strike quality, and appeal. Where this coin becomes particularly fascinating, though, is in the discovery of rare and unusual errors or varieties. Among the most coveted are examples mistakenly struck on leftover 40% silver plankets intended for 1970 issues. These silver planchet 1971D errors are rare and highly sought after, often commanding prices in the thousands of dollars when authenticated. Another notable variety involves double die errors, especially those on the obverse where lettering, such as In God We Trust or Liberty, appears doubled. These anomalies can dramatically boost value, particularly when found in higher grades. Off-center strikes, die cracks, and clipped plankets have also been identified among 1971D Kennedy half-dollars, offering a wealth of possibilities for error hunters and specialists. These errors serve as reminders of the challenges and imperfections involved in mass coin production, turning common coins into numismatic gems. Collector interest in the 1971D Kennedy half-dollar is remarkably steady. It appeals to a broad spectrum of hobbyists, from beginners seeking their first vintage half-dollar to advanced numismatists hunting for rare errors or assembling day-10 mintmark sets. Its historical context as the first fully clad half-dollar and its pivotal position in the post-silver era give it lasting significance. Moreover, its widespread availability makes it an excellent entry point for those learning the ropes of grading, mint marks, and error identification. The 1971D also evokes a certain nostalgia, especially for those who recall handling these coins in daily commerce or finding them in change. Though not rare in the traditional sense, it symbolizes a period of major transition in American coinage. As cash transactions dwindle and physical coins become less common, the Kennedy half-dollar, especially this turning point year, serves as a tangible link to mid-20th century American life. It's a coin that carries weight not just in metal, but in meaning. Whether you're building a full run of Kennedy half-dollars, focusing on mint errors, or simply looking for coins that tell a rich and relevant story, the 1971D is an essential piece. It combines history, accessibility, and the possibility of discovering hidden value, all wrapped in one of the most recognizable and enduring coin designs in U.S. history. So if you're holding on to a 1993D or 1971D Kennedy half-dollar, take a closer look. These coins may seem ordinary at first glance, but as you now know, they each carry layers of meaning, artistry, and potential value. Stay curious, keep collecting, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights right here on Coins Numismatic series.